this next segment, this is how to know if you're bipolar. And if you guys have been watching the show, I recently have, gone down on my SSRIs, and I'm experiencing a lot more symptoms. It's kind of cool. And my girlfriend told me last night, she's like, wait, it was kind of cool that you have more symptoms? And I was like, yeah, it felt real. Yesterday I was down. I was down and out. I don't know what it was. Luckily, I didn't go down the rabbit hole of trying to diagnose every single thing that I did last week that caused me to be depressed. So I didn't. But what I did was I said, okay, I'm depressed. And I explained in the other episode how to know if you're depressed, And I diagnosed myself as being depressed. And I went throughout my day, and I felt really good. Trained jiu-jitsu, came home, shot the show, felt great after the show. Then I just played chess for like an hour and a half. I have a great life. What do you want to say? Anyways, and I think I'm still getting destroyed. Anyway, long story short, how do you know you're bipolar? Well, you wake up the next day and you're freaking amped. You're so amped. You're like, yes, my show is great. I'm amazing. Everything is perfect. I am literally God on earth. Okay, I exaggerate 1,000,000% because that's how you know. And it sounds so stereotypical, right? It sounds like, oh, you wake up, the mad scientist on the wall. It is. But here's what you don't know. When you're bipolar, you don't know that and if you don't know that you're bipolar, you're not going to be aware of this subtle difference, okay? And here's how it works. You're going to be going through the phases, right, of depression and mania. Don't use those words. Don't use depression. Don't use mania. Shame on me for even using the word depression. I call them higher and lower states, okay? Everyone has higher and lower states. Just stay up all night and you will experience a lower state the next day. Get some good rest, have a great activity, win the lotto, you will experience a higher state, okay? Wish you could just win the lotto. Anyways, how to know if you're bipolar. And this is the key. This is literally the key. I wish someone could have told me this 10 years ago. It probably would have saved us a lot of pain and suffering. And by us, I mean me. Anyways, what happens is there is no change in circumstance. You did not get a new job. You did not make a new friend. You did not win the lottery. You did not get more money. Nothing changed. Yet your perception on your reality all of a sudden is extremely positive. Okay? If you open the DSM and you look under mania, which don't, you get all these symptoms. Oh, you go shopping too much, you stay up late, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do any of those. Technically, you do to be bipolar, but realistically, you don't have to do any of those to be bipolar, especially if you have what's called hypomania, which is very, very subtle difference. What ends up happening is all of a sudden your circumstances have changed at none. Nothing has changed, but you wake up and you're like, I feel great. So let me give you a realistic story how it went. Woke up this morning, same thing I do every morning, okay? You guys know I love caffeine. Had my caffeine sponsored by Alani Nu. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I love sponsors. And what happens is I do the same thing, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm feeling good. My body's feeling strong. I'm feeling smart. I want to make some graphics. I want to write. I want to do stuff. Oh, yeah, my class is good. I'm making money. Yeah. Meanwhile, yesterday, the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh. So obviously, I'm going through a wave, right? I have the down and I have the up. But how do I know? Well, I'm experienced in knowing this, so I recognize myself. I go, hey, look, Bruce, nothing's changed. You have nothing to feel so amazing about. So just realize you have an up state. It's cool. And this is something I'm personally doing. So what you do, how to know you're bipolar, right? Nothing's changing your circumstances. Your mood's improved, you're looking at everything differently, and then again, nothing's changing circumstances, everything's bad, okay? You can still respond to circumstances, but that doesn't mean you're bipolar. I could be having a great day, and then if I run my car into a post, all of a sudden I'm having a bad day, and that doesn't mean I'm bipolar. That is based on a circumstance, okay? I could make a lot of bad decisions, and this goes back to yesterday's post about the depression. I can make a lot of bad decisions, and I could be in a bad mood. That doesn't mean I'm bipolar. It means I'm going to have bad decision-making. But if nothing has changed and you're experiencing waves, then that is something you need to recognize. Now, in order to be a bipolar, it needs to be a pattern. It needs to be a pattern, okay? A pattern based on nothing. It can't be a pattern where you feel great because you're taking Adderall for 5 days in a row. That's not bipolar. That's you being addicted to Adderall, okay? It can't be based on a substance or a circumstance or anything. I go on vacation. I'm super excited for 5 days and I'm tired when I get back. That's not bipolar. That's normal. Your circumstances can't change. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I might say it 100 more times, but your circumstances can't change for you to diagnose, okay? And no, you're not diagnosing yourself. Don't freak out all the doctors on, okay? You're just becoming aware of it because you can't change something you're not aware of, Okay, and that probably be a different show. Write that one down. What are you going to do about it once you figure it out? Anyways, so once we've gotten that point, right? And I want to just talk a little bit about this hypomania. So once you get to that point, this is what you can't do. And I'm going to, once you realize that you're in this heightened state, don't do this. I do this all the time. Don't make plans. Don't say, oh, I'm going to start journaling now. I'm going to start making shows every day. I'm going to write every day. Just don't. You have to shut that down. I even caught myself doing this. I've been doing this forever. I'm like, yeah, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, Evan, no. You're just heightened. You're not going to want to do it in a week when you go back down. Just don't, okay? Don't do it. Now, and this is something I'm learning, and this is very powerful, is do something, though. You have energy. Like, get some stuff done. Make some calls. Activate some things. I made some graphics, made some shows. Like let's do some stuff with the energy. And you hear a lot, like the artists have bipolar because they're all creative when they're manic and all depressed when they're not, blah, 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 who cares? But I'm saying, like, use your energy to create something if you have these up states. And that's just kind of normal. But this is the key. This might just turn into how to manage bipolar too. This is the key. Do not let yourself slip completely when you are in a down state, right? If you're in a down state, you can't just do nothing. I mean, I'm guilty of that. You can't do nothing. Do little things. Keep going. That's why I love jobs. That's why I love training people. That's why I can always do that. I've been doing that forever. I can always do that. I might be able to make a great show. I might be able to do all this stuff, but I can still train. I can still help people. Still go to a meeting. There's stuff that you can do in your down states. And then always observe the law of this too shall pass, which I just hate that. It's a stupid law, but it's true. It will pass, and you will swing back up eventually, assuming you keep making good decisions. If you keep making bad decisions, there's no knowing how deep the rabbit hole goes, okay? So just to recap real quick and real briefly, like, okay, how do I know I'm bipolar? Well, my circumstances haven't changed, and I'm experiencing a heightened mood. All of a sudden, everything's good. I'm looking through what they call rose-colored glasses, right? My show is great. Oh, my friends are cool. I love everybody. Yeah, I can't wait to dominate. And then the next day, nothing changed, and you're like, wow, I'm so tired. Everything sucks. Remember that? I'm so gray. I'm so dull. What am I supposed to do? That's how you know you're bipolar. And it might not be one day down, one day up. It could be one day up, 10 days down. It might be 10 days up and 1 day down. Who knows? You just have to be aware of these patterns. You have to be them long-term. You have to be invested in analyzing yourself, okay? So that's how you tell if you're bipolar, and it's very important, and I'm going to end with this, is once you have diagnosed yourself, right? You said, I have bipolar. Ask yourself if it's a problem. Is it a problem? Because I swear, I know people that are bipolar that it doesn't really cause them that many problems. Yeah, they're sort of like a loose cannon. Yeah, they kind of run amok. And they make bad decisions here and there. Whatever. They might not be the most productive people, but it doesn't cause a problem. When is it causing a problem? Well, I'll tell you when it causes a problem is when you go into those super manic states and you start like stealing money. You start making bad decisions, right? Taking on things, super risky behavior, doing a bunch of drugs, tearing your life down. And then when you're down, you just shred everything. You're like a freaking nuclear bomb. Go in there and just lay waste to all things. That's when it's a problem. It might not be a problem. Like I will say right now, my swings right now, they are not a problem. They're completely 100% manageable. I might not like them sometimes, but they're manageable. They don't cause me problems. 5-10 years ago, these waves were a lot larger and they were causing me significant problems. So if you're having significant problems and you've realized that you're bipolar, you need to get help, okay? Maybe one day I'll post some links and stuff down the road, but you got to get a support group. You got to find someone who knows what they're talking about and been through it. And you have to essentially ask for help, okay? It's not going to fix itself. This goes back to a few episodes. It's not going to change on its own. If you're going through these waves and it's not based on your circumstance, it's not going to stop. Stop living in the fantasy that your mental illness is just going to disappear. And also stop living in the fantasy that it's not real, right? Not everyone gets depressed every other day, okay? That's not a normal thing. That is a circumstance of mental illness. That's not a thing, okay? So don't live in the fantasy that it's normal, and don't live in the fantasy that it's just going to magically disappear. Okay? You guys are awesome. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I don't know what I'm doing here. I might be posting long form, posting short form, posting both. Who knows? I changed the camera. It's going to be a lot of changes. But thank you guys. You guys checking me out on Instagram, The Art of Mental Fitness. Just started posting all my stuff. So appreciate you guys. And if you have questions, you go ahead, comment below, and I will put those into the mailbag. See you next time. Peace.